Hello, this is Brian Sykes with AI Explore, and here is a new exploration. What I decided I wanted to do is, after having my first kind of play around with the characters yesterday, pull this over and kind of walk you through a little bit. So I started with this image. This is a photograph of myself that I've uploaded, and I walked through the process of turning this image where I was turning it into a Barbified version of myself. And this was the step-through-step process where I basically used the pan and zoom out features inside of Midjourney to create this image. Okay, well, I'm taking that same concept and I'm now going to apply it in a Lego variety. So I want to walk you through this. And the thing is yesterday I finished up with this picture, which is great. But we don't always finish where we like. In other words, this is just kind of a step-through process. And I want to begin thinking for the creative community, how to utilize this as a tool in your creative arsenal. So the goal is not always for generative AI to be the complete solution. What we want to do is figure out how to use it and what we're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. I've already started the process of creating my Legofied figure, and you'll see here the prompt that's in blue. This portion is the photograph of myself I just showed you a second ago. This is how I type the prompt. Lego version of Brian, middle-aged, friendly figure with beard, wearing ball cap, orange shirt, blue pants, sticker, no background, in the style of Lego. Aspect ratio 1:2, quality of 2. Now, aspect ratio in this case didn't have to be 1:2. I was just trying to play around with something different. And I wanted to see on the quality. In the older versions of Midjourney, you could really see a significant quality improvement once you chose quality 2. So I just wanted to see how this would affect things, see if it actually did improve things. So this is the image collection that it gave me, and you can see very distinctly that there are some elements to this that's looking very Lego-esque. There are the jointed shoulders in these images. You can see the plasticine look on each of their features, and from this I chose number 2, even though it's cut out with black bars. There's a reason I wanted to do this. First, I wanted to see if I expand from this, does it go beyond and leave the black bars, or does it actually see the black bars as something to be replaced? So this was something of interest to me. So this is the image that it created, and as you can see, this is brought in. You cannot see the black bars really, but they're above and below the image. And I chose zoom out 2x. And here we go. Here's what's created so far. This is very much a Legofied version. It expanded in the space. There's my perfect little Lego hands, Lego legs. It's got my cap and my orange shirt. These are really kind of cool. What I'm interested in from this point is which of these do I want to choose, and then how do I take and do something with this that gives it a life beyond itself. So from this collection, I chose number 4, and there we go. This is our little Legofied version of Brian. Now I'm going to pull this image into Photoshop. But before I do, I want to show you one other thing, because I want to take this Brian and get him off the golf course and put him into a Lego office. Now, I didn't start with that because I want to be able to focus on the office setting to be perfect. I want it to look just like an office and then bring myself over into it. Now, I could have done the same thing where I took an actual picture of my office, dropped it into Midjourney, and had it create an office. But I thought, let's be a little more playful with this. I'm going to scroll down because there's a lot of things I was doing in this space. And here we go. Macro photograph of a designer's office made of Lego. Lego set of bright, colorful bricks on display near a window in a real office. Aspect ratio 16:9. And here's the images that it created. This one here, it's too small. The figures are tiny, tiny. If I drop myself in there, you're not really going to even see me. The second and the third, I like both of these. There's a chair, there's a desk, even though it's a little bit chaotic, but my wife would probably argue that this is very similar to my desk. And then the third looks more like a conference room kind of setting with a whole bunch of stuff in the background, all these books. So there's the possibility of this being kind of like my office as well. The last one, I do like the chair. It's kind of got that 1950s mid-century modern look, but this really does not look much like a desk inside of an office. A little more chaotic. So I'm just going to work with the 2 and a 3, and I could do variations of this, but again, this is just for fun. So I went ahead and upscaled both the second, which I kind of like what's happening there, and the third image, and there we go. Okay, so from this, what am I doing now? What I want to do is I'm going to bring over the character of myself as a Lego figure into Photoshop Beta. Now, I could do this in Photoshop. This is nothing special on the beta side. I'm just constantly looking at ways to utilize this tool. So I've got the character brought into Photoshop Beta, and here we go. If any of you spend any time working with Photoshop Beta, you know of this little tool here. I really like it. One thing I don't like about it is as you work with it, as I move around the screen, as I zoom in, this thing is constantly moving within a certain distance of what I'm working with, always kind of in the way. So if you're having that same kind of problem, one thing you can do is down here on the bottom is 3 little dots. Click on that, and you'll see hide bar. I don't want to do that. Reset bar position or pin bar position. Okay, this pin bar position will literally lock it in place on the screen where you see it. So I'm going to do that. Now what's going to happen with this is as I'm moving around and as I'm engaging with the thing, the bar stays in position. This is really kind of helpful. First thing is remove background. Let's see if this is smart enough to make sure it isolates just the Lego. There we go. Not too bad. There's a little bit happening around here. That's an easy cleanup. So let me zoom in and go ahead and fix some of these things. I'm going to get the hardness fairly solid. Don't want to create hard lines, but I do want to be able to, because it's plastic, I want it to look as accurate as possible. I'm making sure I'm selecting the masking area, and I'm going to go ahead and mask around in here fairly tight. Now I know Lego figures do not have the exact shape with the wrist and things. The hands are right, but this is kind of interesting. It's enough of a position, or enough of a presentation to definitely have that Lego feel. And let's see if we can get the joint legs of the legs here good. Again, this is not a paid project. I can be a little bit of a persnickety when it comes to design stuff, but I'm trying to do this quickly. Okay, this looks fairly decent. Now, if I were doing this more professionally, I would get rid of the green glows that are inside of there and try to touch everything up. But again, this is just a quick, what I've got now is I've got my Lego figure of me cleaned up pretty decent. All right, now the next thing is I want to bring over the Lego office. Now from these I showed you just a second ago, I've got this one and I've got this one. I think I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to open this inside of Photoshop. There we go. Okay, and I need to bring over my Lego figure. Slide him over here for a second and drop him into place. Okay. Now we just want to scale him, position him, and we've got a little bit of something happening that's interesting here. What's funny is things are a little bit in slightly different positions from where they are in your regular Photoshop. So this is part of that learning curve of jumping into a tool to make sense of it. Also, what you'll see is a little bit of roughness around the hat. Again, this is where I could start getting really picky and frustrating everybody as I try to refine things perfectly. So I'm not going to try and work with everything here, but this is really kind of cool. This character inside of this space, it's a lot of fun. Be kind of funny to stick him on the desk. I almost want to put him behind the desk, but I can bring him to the front in the foreground. Set him up here in the corner. There we go. Brian as a Lego figure in a Lego world. This is kind of fun. All right. So that was a quick tutorial where I've created the Lego figure inside of Midjourney. I created the Lego background inside of Midjourney, and then used Photoshop to just kind of knock things out. And this is a neat, creative way to be, again, using other resources outside of generative AI to create the things that you're after. Now, generative AI really was my primary piece, but Photoshop becomes the tool where I can begin putting these things together in a way that I want. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that and got something from it. That'll be all for today.